Professional minor league baseball was played in Topeka off and on since the 1880s. Young boys with dreams of one day becoming a major league ball player and older veterans trying one last time to catch the eye of a scout played America's game in Topeka, wearing the uniforms of the Golden Giants, Caws, White Sox, Owls, Hawks, or Reds. Through the years, a few players passed through Topeka on their way to the major leagues. One team, the 1961 Topeka Reds, featured 7 players and their manager who would become major leaguers. This year, 2016, the Shawnee County Baseball Hall of Fame honors this team, the 1961 Topeka Reds. The Topeka Reds were a community-based team owned by citizens who bought shares of stock in Topeka Community Baseball Incorporated. A panel of local civic leaders was chosen to serve on the board of directors, chaired by furniture retailer Ed Marling. The board tapped insurance executive Sherman Huff as president of the club. The board knew that new blood was needed to revive Topeka's interest in professional baseball after the dismal 1960 season when the Reds finished last in the league and only averaged about 500 fans per game. To shake things up, the board hired a young man from Bakersfield, California, 29-year-old Dave Rosenfield, as general manager of the club. Rosenfield, a former player himself, had only been working on the business side of baseball for a few years, but he came to Topeka with business and promotional skills that would serve him well for the next 50 years. After his year in Topeka, Rosenfield moved on to run the Tidewater and Norfolk Tides in the AAA International League, until he stepped down in 2011. Over the years, he received many awards in recognition of his service and dedication to professional baseball. The Topeka Reds played in the Class B 3I League as a farm team of the Cincinnati Reds. Before the season, Cincinnati's general manager, Bill DeWitt, promised to send the cream of the crop of Cincinnati's minor league system to Topeka. He named 27-year-old Dave Bristol to manage the Reds, promoting Bristol from Cincinnati's Class D Palatka team that he had led to the Florida League Championship in 1960. 11 of Bristol's players from that Palatka team joined him in Topeka, following a program of developing good young players and moving them together up through the minor leagues as a team. Dave Bristol was both manager and a player, serving as a backup infielder. Although in a pinch, he played the outfield and even pitched. 4 years earlier, the Cincinnati organization recognized that Bristol's leadership skills exceeded his abilities as a middle infielder when it named him as manager for their Class D team. As a minor league manager, Bristol's teams won 5 championships in 8 seasons. Bristol rose through Cincinnati's minor league system as a fiery personality who emphasized an aggressive style of baseball. He was a teacher in the off-season, and he spent his summers teaching the game of baseball to Cincinnati's young minor leaguers. By 1966, Bristol was a major league coach. He went on to serve as the manager for 4 major league teams during his career. Opening night at Topeka's Community Park, located at the southeast corner of North Topeka Boulevard and Lyman Road, was April 25th. Temperature at game time was in the 40s. But the Reds prevailed with Harvey Alex, a tall right-hander from Texas, pitching a complete game, and second baseman Tommy Harper hitting a 3-run homer. Alex, at age 20, ended the season with 12 wins and 12 complete games. Harper went on to be named the league's most valuable player for the year and spend 15 years in the major leagues. The attendance of 607 was disappointing, but attendance would build throughout the season as fans took notice of the talent on Topeka's team. Future Hall of Fame manager Earl Weaver, who managed the Fox Cities team that year, took a look at Topeka's youngsters and said they are the best hitting and fielding team and should win the league championship by 15 games. The Reds opened the season with an 8-game home winning streak. Through May, they stayed in first place, led by 20-year-old Tommy Harper, who blended power and speed to hit .406 with 27 RBI, 33 walks, and 8 stolen bases for the month. By June 1st, the Reds were knocked out of first place by Cedar Rapids, a farm team of the Milwaukee Braves that featured a number of older veteran players. Bristol's skills as a manager were tested by his youngsters. One of those youngsters, Tommy Helms, the Reds' 20-year-old shortstop from North Carolina, made 16 errors through the first 20 games of the season with a batting average below 200. On the road at Cedar Rapids, Bristol called Helms to his hotel room to tell him, "Hey kid, you are my shortstop. I want you to make the routine plays. The hard plays will come, but relax and just make the routine plays." Infused with his manager's vote of confidence, Helms' fielding came around and he started to hit. In July, Earl Weaver called Helms the most improved player in the league. Helms would go on to enjoy a 14-year major league career. In 1966, he was named the National League Rookie of the Year. John Flavin was another youngster learning his craft in Topeka. At 19 years of age, Flavin was a stocky left-handed pitcher from California who had received a $60,000 bonus for signing his professional contract. Together, John Flavin and Harvey Alex, who also received a large signing bonus, were referred to by Cincinnati's front office as the Gold Dust Twins. In late June, Bristol left Flavin on the mound at Des Moines to absorb a shellacking. Bristol explained, "Flavin's got to learn to pitch, and he can't do it on the bench." In his next game, the first game of a doubleheader, Flavin threw a 7-inning no-hitter. Flavin attributed his success to a new attitude. By 1964, Flavin was in the major leagues, pitching for the Chicago Cubs. Mickey Matisse was a 21-year-old right-handed pitcher who showed promise in 1960, pitching in his first professional season with Palatka. Matisse pitched 2 no-hitters in his first 4 games. He said, "I didn't realize what I was doing. I had a live arm and a natural slider. I didn't even know what a slider was. I was just trying to throw the ball down the middle, and a lot of times I just couldn't throw it straight." Matisse spent 61 in Topeka, compiling a 13-9 record with 2 complete game shutouts. After his baseball career ended in 1965, he came back to Topeka and graduated from Washburn University. He became a teacher and a coach. Ted Davidson tied Matisse for the team lead in wins. In 1961, the left-handed Davidson won 13 games against 7 losses. Late in the year, he pitched his best game, throwing a 9-inning complete game shutout of the Cedar Rapids Braves using only 87 pitches. Manager Bristol said he had never seen a pitcher complete a game with fewer pitches. Davidson made his major league debut for Cincinnati in 1965 and pitched out of their bullpen for 4 more seasons. The Reds only carried 19 players on their roster, so when injuries and doubleheaders took a toll on the pitching staff mid-year, Cincinnati sent Vic Davalillo to Topeka for a few weeks. Davalillo pitched in relief, winning 3 games, but his pinch hitting stood out, and just 2 years later, he was playing outfield for the Cleveland Indians. The Venezuelan enjoyed a 16-year major league career playing for 6 teams. Mel Queen, the Reds' third baseman, was a 19-year-old Californian in his second year of professional baseball, trying to follow the footsteps of his father, who had pitched in the major leagues. Queen proved to be durable, playing nearly every game. He hit .266 with 14 home runs, and he led the league in assists. By 1964, Queen made his major league debut with Cincinnati as an outfielder. But 2 years later, he was converted to a pitcher. He said his pitching philosophy was to go to the mound and throw as hard as I could. Queen spent 7 years pitching in the major leagues, but made his lasting mark in baseball as a pitching coach who helped shape the careers of Roger Clemens, Roy Halladay, Pat Henkin, David Wells, Mike Timlin, and many others. After their June tailspin dropped the Reds to third place, 5 games back, the Reds won 11 of their next 13 games and reclaimed first place. Driving in the winning runs in 2 of those games was a skinny left-handed hitting outfielder from St. Louis, Art Shamsky, who had been sidelined at the start of the season with a hand injury. Only 19 years old, Shamsky began to swing a hot bat over the summer. He finished the year with a .288 batting average and 15 home runs, tying Harper for the team lead. Shamsky made his major league debut with Cincinnati in 1965. In 1968, he was traded to the New York Mets, where he became a fan favorite. Of course, a few of the Reds' professional baseball careers fell short of the major leagues. Among them were pitcher Stan Jones, first baseman Miles McWilliams, outfielders Mario Zambrano and Jerry Dawson, and catcher Larry Rancourt. Jones, who once played in the Negro Leagues, won 11 games against 5 losses for the Reds. He bounced around the minor leagues for 8 more years. McWilliams, who joked about swinging the golden bat, led the league in RBI with 102. He made it to AAA ball, but no higher. Dawson led the team in Grand Slam home runs, but he hit only .225. After the season, he retired from baseball. Zambrano stole 26 bases and hit .287, and after leaving baseball, made his home in Topeka for a while. The popular Rancourt spent parts of 2 seasons in Topeka. When manager Bristol was suspended 3 games for bumping an umpire, Rancourt managed the team to 3 wins. He suffered 3 broken fingers during the year, but was still able to type a newspaper column for local sports writer Bob Henson, who Rancourt playfully insisted had the easiest job in the world. Rancourt's column provided an interesting, behind-the-scenes look into the Reds' young, fun-loving clubhouse. The Reds would remain in first the rest of the year and claim the league championship by 6 1/2 games. As the team won game after game, attendance increased. Rosenfield's promotions also added to the team's bottom line. A general admission ticket was 95 cents. Usherettes wore short shorts. Monday games were ladies' night, with ladies admitted free. Kids under 13 were admitted to all games free. Merchants' nights included giving away a car, a pony, and a college scholarship. On the 4th of July, the game against Fox Cities was televised locally by WIBW-TV. By the end of August, Rosenfield announced that the team would finish in the black and even pay off some leftover debts. Attendance for the year increased 46% over the previous year. On August 29th, the Reds clinched the pennant at home. The players celebrated their achievement with everyone. The players, manager, general manager, broadcaster Tom Hedrick, and bat boys Doug Wright and Bud McCune being tossed in the shower. It was the first championship by a Topeka team since 1954. Topeka's newspapers, the Morning Daily Capital and the Evening State Journal, featured the team on the front page. Chairman of the board Ed Marling and team president Sherman Huff were honored before one of the last games of the season, as was manager Dave Bristol. A minor league manager's job is to develop players for the big club, not necessarily to win championships. Bristol did both very well. He drove his players to perform to their potential, and they said publicly they wanted to win the league championship for him. On Dave Bristol night, the fans and players gathered to honor him, but he was nearly a no-show. He was tossed out of the game in the first inning, protecting Harper, who was arguing balls and strikes with the home plate umpire. It was Bristol's 7th ejection of the year, 1 fewer than Earl Weaver's league-leading 8 ejections. Among the prizes, gifts, and awards given to Bristol was one humorously bestowed on him by a local sports writer, the longest rosin bag toss. The 1961 Topeka Reds were a success on and off the field, and after seeing some of the great young talent in the Cincinnati farm system, Topeka's baseball fans eagerly anticipated next year. Unfortunately, next year never came. A few months after the season ended, the 3I League folded, and Topeka Community Baseball Incorporated was unable to secure another team in any other league. A few years later, the ballpark was torn down and replaced by a shopping center. The memories of the team and the players are fading now, but in 1961, they provided Topeka with a summer of baseball to remember.